Hi, I'm a member of the Motley Merchants. We all look different and we all sell stuff. So, semi-recently, Lin-Manuel Miranda and Isa Davis released a new concept album based around the 1979 film The Warriors. And I watched the movie, and I listened to the album, and I like both of them, and you're gonna listen to me talk about them, because this isn't about you, this is about me. This is my YouTube channel. So let's get started immediately with the first piece of media to come from this franchise, the movie. So let's start off with the characters. The main characters of this movie are a gang called the Warriors, based on the title, and they consist of their leader Cleon, the war chief Swan, and the other gang members Ajax, Cowboy, Cochise, Snow, Vermin, Fox, and Rembrandt. So now that we've got that part over with, let's go talk about the plot of the movie, in a segment I like to call a voiceover while I edit in clips for the movie. Let's go. So this gang, the Warriors, has been called to the Bronx by Cyrus, the leader of the largest gang in New York City. The Warriors have to travel all the way from Coney Island to Van Cortlandt Park, which is a very long journey for 9 guys traveling by train. Anyway, Cyrus speaks to every gang in the city, saying that if they all unite, they can overthrow New York and become the government, I guess. During the speech, some guy shoots Cyrus, and in all of the subsequent panic, the shooter blames the Warriors. The gang flees, and Cleon is beaten to death by Cyrus's gang, the Gramercy Riffs. The gang agrees that if they're separated, they should meet back up in Union Square. Swan becomes the new leader, and they start heading for the train. On the way there, they are chased by and escape from the Turnbull ACs. While they ride away on the train, there's a track fire, and they're forced to get off. They meet a small gang called the Orphans, who almost lets them through, but a woman named Mercy makes fun of them until they attack the Warriors. The Warriors blow up the Orphans and escape with Mercy. Afterwards, in the park, they have a big fight with the Baseball Furies, which they win, but they get separated in the process. In the park, a policewoman seduces and arrests Ajax, while Fox dies to a police officer in the subway. Cochise and Vermin are similarly seduced by a gang called the Lizzies, and Rembrandt tries to convince them not to fall for it, but they do anyway. They fight the Lizzies and escape. They reunite in Union Square and they fight the Punks. They ride home on the subway, have a final confrontation with Luther and the Rogues, they win, the Riffs show up, and Luther dies. The end. Wow, wasn't that segment great? I definitely filmed it in between the last segment and this segment, and I'm not going to film it later, because I already did film it, and I'm not just doing this right now. So overall, I really like the Warriors movie. Obviously it was the 70s, times have changed, but I think it's pretty good for a movie from the 70s. Minus all the slurs and sexual assaults and stuff, but we don't have to talk about that. Now let's talk about the music. So Lin-Manuel Miranda, the famed creator of Hamilton, and Isa Davis, who I've never heard of before, but I assume has done something, created an album that's based around the movie The Warriors. Now, the main difference you'll notice the moment you listen to the second song is that all of the Warriors are women now. And Cyrus is also a woman now, and Mercy is still a woman. The second thing I noticed is that the music is really good. I really like the music. It's better if you watch the movie before listening to the music, so you understand what's going on, but the music by itself is good if you don't feel like watching a movie, which you should. You should go watch the movie. Another thing is that the Lizzies are now the Bizzies, because they gender swapped them too. And in the song We Got You Reprise, the switch from them singing the song to them betraying the Warriors, I think is done really well. So I'll play that for you.
Okay. If you want to, we got you. We got you. With your back to the wall. So you're the warrior.
The doors are locked and the exit's blocked.
The famous warrior.
Now I'll talk about some intentional inaccuracies. So these are things that are in the music that are inaccurate to the movie, but are probably better, and I think are intentional. First up, there are not 9 warriors. There are 7, because Vermin and Snow are just not in the music. They just aren't at all. Second thing is that in the music, Cleon is captured by the Gramercy Riffs, and she helps the Gramercy Riffs find the guy who shot Cyrus, and just end this whole thing. But in the movie, Cleon is actually beaten to death right after Cyrus is shot, and there's just some guy who helps the Riffs find Luther. Fifth one is also regarding Luther, and that's that Kim Dracula's Luther is a way better villain than David Patrick Kelly's Luther. Maybe not a better villain, but definitely more villain sounding. I'm just going to show you a comparison here.
Here was the warriors! The warriors! The warriors! Shot Cyrus!
There he is! That's him! That's the warrior! He shot Cyrus!
And finally, the policewoman in the movie who arrested Ajax has been changed into an old man, and he is played by James Remar, the actor who played Ajax in the original movie. Overall, the music is good, and I've listened to it a lot. And now we can move on to the third and final piece of the Warriors franchise, which is a video game. The Warriors video game is a tie-in to the movie that is actually a prequel that takes place 90 days before the movie. The characters in the game look horrifying, but the graphics are actually pretty good for 1999, except I lied and the game came out in 2005, the same year as the far superior Resident Evil 4. Except that's an unfair comparison because obviously Resident Evil 4 had a much larger budget than a tie-in video game for a movie that came out 26 years earlier. Now I will take you on a journey and show you some gameplay and commentary of the game that I did myself. So the game opens on Vermin and Cleon preparing to decide whether Rembrandt can be a warrior, and after I beat up some homeless guys, they decide I can. I rob a store, a car, and a man with Vermin, and then we run off. I decided to beat up Vermin for a bit, and it was really satisfying in the context of the game.
Why you being a jerk? What'd I do?
Right afterwards, something I find really funny happened.
Come on, man, we're almost there. You can make it.
And finally, I finished the chapter by purchasing some drugs. Now, something you may have noticed if you've watched the movie is that something is really wrong with Vermin. I'm going to show you the comparison here of what Vermin sounds like in the movie and what Vermin sounds like in the video game.
Who wants to hide?
So who wants to hide?
So I really don't like that because I liked the way Vermin talked in the movie and I don't like the way he sounds in the video game. Moving forwards. And by forwards, I mean I'm done talking about the video game. If you do want to play it, which I encourage you to do because it is... Even if it's not great, it's still pretty fun just to check out. The way that I got it working was on an Xbox emulator called Zemu, just using an emulator file. I don't know where to find the emulator file because my father sent this to me. I'm sure I could have figured it out on my own, but I didn't. And that's on you. So that was the entire Warriors franchise. Not the book about the cat tribes. The movie about a bunch of guys in New York who really need to get home. Overall, I think the game is fun if you're playing it ironically. If you're playing it unironically, it's just kind of a lower quality fighting game, but not like Street Fighter, just like a beating people up game. And in its entirety overall, I give the Warriors franchise a, that's pretty good above average out of whatever the highest ranking is. It was a lot of fun talking about the Warriors with you guys. And luckily, there are no other parts of this franchise. There was no book that was written that inspired all of this to be created. Even if there was, I wouldn't talk about it in this video because I don't have it. And I'll see you all next time when I set myself on fire and discover that I've actually been fireproof this entire time and I just never knew. Goodbye.